All right. Hello, beloveds. This is Tamala, your empowerment partner. And today is January 13th, 2020, and we are doing our support cards for this week. And as you know, we have the support cards for the month of January already. So if you haven't watched that video, you can check it out on the YouTube page, or you can scroll down in the Facebook group and find it. They are the cards for last week that included the cards for January. So what we're working with this whole month of January is paying attention to what we're feeling, for also getting in and understanding how we're using our second chakra in relation to sex, money, creation, manifestation, and children. Is it inappropriate? Are we wielding our sexuality as power to have control over other people, or our second chakra, our money, to have control over other people, our creation and manifestation to have control over other people, or are we using it as a power and a source to fuel our own creativity, to open up our heart space, to connect more with our own manifestation and creation abilities that are our divine abilities, our divine right, our divine purpose. Then our assistant this month is, I know I'm going to say her name wrong, Khadijah, the mother of believers. The mantra is, I am spiritually and financially abundant. I provide heaven and earth for myself. And that's why we're changing this controlling into empowerment, because as we're dissolving the patriarchy, we're not coming into women in power again. We had the matriarchy, then we had the patriarchy. The matriarchy is dead. The patriarchy is dying, and now we're moving into divine sacred partnership, which is masculine and feminine co-creating together. And that means our masculine and feminine inside of us, and it means in the world. We're being assisted with, we need to pay attention to our instincts around what we feel, why we're feeling it. Are we hiding from ourselves? Are we manipulating ourselves in this process as well? We're being supported here also by understanding that we're opening to our higher learning and wisdom. And this is helping with our crown chakra, where we are opening to the wisdom that is ours so that we can walk on a higher spiritual path. And we're also being offered safety as we do this process. And trust that we are protected so that we can walk on our path of light. So that's for the entire month. Now we're going to talk about what's up for this week. So our first card is going to come from one of my new decks, the Energy Oracle. And so what information is going to be most supportive for us this week? Oops. We got two. And they both just jumped out of the deck. So the first one is victory. And this is a 28 number, so it goes to 10, which is a 1, which means new beginnings. So we are learning as we're understanding what we're feeling, as we're understanding our instincts, as we're coming out of the shadow, as we are believing in our own abundance and our light and our truth. We are finding victory in that process. And it's a new victory. It's a beginning of an upward spiral, an upward trajectory towards where it is that we want to go, towards our soul purpose. Now, the second card we got is the World. And the World, and this is a 29, which is an 11. And the world is going through a bunch of stuff right now. And when I say the world, it means the planet, but it also means the people on the planet. The planet, like we learned in the Living a Congruent Life training, 2020 is going to be upheaval, upheaval, upheaval. There's going to be earthquakes, there's going to be volcanoes, there's going to be seismic action, there's going to be floods and hurricanes and all of this natural shaking up of the world, because she is having to reboot, rejuvenate, reestablish herself from all the damage that has been done through climate change and through the people being on the earth. We didn't partner with her after, during the time of the patriarchy, we didn't partner with her. We tried to rule her and abuse her and neglect her. And that time is at an end, because she is taking charge of her own destiny now. And the people of the world are going to be leaving. And that means that, and it's already been happening. I've seen lots of friends who have had just a family member after family member leave the planet. And that's part of what is happening now. It's not because they did something wrong or they're bad or anything like that. It's that we're moving into this phase of divine sacred partnership and divine union. And the people that are leaving are the people who either have completed their work, right? They did all that they were supposed to do while they were here, and they didn't sign up for this next part, because this next part is no joke. And so they've completed their tasks, so they're done and they're transitioning. Or they've decided they do not want to be a part of that and they're just going to be done and they're transitioning. And it doesn't mean that people, I'm not talking about suicide, I'm talking about just people dying. Whether it's from sickness, illness, injury, disease, any of that stuff, old age, whatever. And 2020 is going to be the year of the earth resetting and the people on the earth either choosing to stay to complete the evolutionary process of moving us towards 5D, or leaving because they've done their part or they don't want to do their part around that. So this week, you want to be thinking about, with your feelings, with using your power on purpose, paying attention to your instincts, knowing your abundance, knowing where you want to put your trust, understanding that your victory is brand new, because this cycle that we're in is now moving that energy into divine sacred partnership, because right now it's doing this and we're moving it into doing this. And it's going to take a bunch of bumping and banging and all of that stuff to get it into this movement that's going to be cooperative. And know that the things that you see in the world are happening because it needs to happen so that we can get here. Okay? So don't look at it as a bad thing. Look at it as progress. Now, our next card is coming from the Archangel Power Tarot. And let's see what is going to help us with this recalibration, with our new victory, with our clarity and perception and understanding. Okay, we got the Four of Gabriel. And it says, time for celebration, abundant rewards for hard work. Release yourself from burdensome situations. So that's going to include control, right? All those things that we thought we had to control. It is time to move on. It is time to shift. It is time to appreciate our new experience so that we can shift into the understanding that all things are becoming new and that the world is going to look different. The people are going to look different. And it's time for us to celebrate that we've gotten ourselves here and let go of the need to manage, control, manipulate anything. because right now we're setting our intentions, we're getting feedback from the universe, and we're going with our own flow. That's then going to help others go with their own flow, which then is going to help the world go with her own flow, so that all the beings on the planet can then come into their own flow. Okay? So our next card is going to come from the Sacred Traveler. Oops, sorry. So let's see. These are going to be shuffled differently. All right, so what's going to help us this week? To really help us see our new victories, to help us release our connection to the world in the way that it has been. It's going to help us celebrate where we are and accept our rewards for getting to the place that we are in. All right. This one is Discovering Truth. And it says, you stand in the light of truth. So make sure during all of this process that you're not fooling yourselves, that you're not doing any of this manipulation on yourself. It's really important that as we're moving forward for 2020, that we are brutally honest with ourselves. We don't get to schmooze and blow smoke up our own butts anymore. There was a time when we could do that, when we could get away with that, when it wasn't as detrimental. Now it's going to be a serious problem if you're ignoring your own soul, if you're ignoring your own integrity, if you're ignoring your own body, if you're ignoring your own feedback from the universe to shift and to change. Because this year is about shaking shit up and sifting out the chaff. And if you're not interested in doing that for yourself, then the world is going to do that for you. And it's not going to be pleasing or comfortable. And so just be prepared for that. Okay? Our next card is going to come from the Archetype deck. And so what archetype is going to be supporting us this week as we move through these transitions, as we're really getting clarity and paying attention to our own shadows, as we're celebrating our own victories, as we're celebrating our own abundance, as we're moving into a sacred state of truth, of divine truth that we've never been into before. And so the hedonist. So the light attributes are inspires creative energy to embrace the good things in life and celebrates the beauty in yourself. The shadow attributes are pursues pleasures to the detriment of their health and indulges at the expense of others. So make sure that the things that you are indulging in are inspiring your creativity, that are inspiring your celebration of your abundance, that are moving you further in your victory, that are helping you clarify what it is that you want to do in the world, that's helping you stand in your light of truth. And if it's not, then it's going to be crippling you. It's going to be helping you to remain in the same place that you've been, helping you deceive yourself and others, helping you misunderstand, misdirect, miscommunicate, or be a party to that, and also put you in a place of disempowered pleasure. And we don't want that. So our next card is going to come from the Earth Magic deck. let's see. So what is our final card that's going to support us this week? It's going to help us as we're moving into our light of truth so that we can celebrate and use our pleasures for real celebration, real delight in our moving forward and continuing to move forward into our own victory and moving that victory and shining that light of victory into the world and allowing other people to have their own experiences that we're not managing or controlling. So there it is. Music and harmony. So if you start getting distracted, discouraged, feeling down at all, use music. And you want to make sure and the Living a Congruent Life training, they told us months and months and months ago to be careful of the music that we're listening to, because the words that we're singing are things that we're activating into our experience. So if you're singing about things that you would rather not have in your life, then stop listening to that music and find music that is things that you want to insert into your life. If you want to humming works. If you want to use, a Tibetan bowl, if you want to use a drum, if you have chimes, if you just want to clap your hands, if you want to, do anything. Music is the fastest way for us to shift our vibration because it involves our physical body, our mental body, and our emotional body all at once. And so it's the fastest way to shift from one perspective to another. It's the fastest way to shift from one energy to another, from one interpretation or paradigm to another. Music is the fastest way to get to harmony within ourselves. So it's really super, super important that you use that music this week to really shift if you're feeling any, bumps and bruises this week. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. Please make sure that you leave a comment. Let me know what you think or how this is supporting you. And we will talk soon. Love you.